how's it going? Just got off work and I got this big salad. Not of a salad kit, it's like a sweet kale, poppy seed dressing salad. I'm enjoying this and also drinking Budweiser zero alcohol beer. That's really good. That's really good. Here and there, I've had some subscribers of mine ask me to talk more about my time in China. I was teaching English there about 5 years ago. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So it's like I was teaching English at a university. I wasn't a professor. I just have a bachelor degree and a certificate in teaching English as a second language. Ended up getting fired. I had an observation by a senior instructor that went to hell. I did. She observed one of my classes and I fucked it up. And then this other teacher, gave them an ultimatum. He said, either you give me more teaching hours or I quit. And they gave into his ultimatum and then took away one of my classes, the one class that I was teaching at the time. So then I was looking for a job and applied for a teaching job in Korea. I had an interview but didn't get the job. Thatcher, China. I heard the money in China was good for teaching English. Plus you can get good work-life balance. I tell people about it, people are like, how on earth did you get a job there? They think of like, maybe the job postings being Mandarin and stuff. And it can be super difficult, but there's this website called Dave's ESL Cafe. And it's similar to Indeed.com. It's like a job finding website with this job postings. I mean, it's pretty simple. I looked around on there. The job posting was in English. And I applied. I think it was the first job I applied for. was from a manager there who was from England and who spoke English fluently. I had an interview over video chat. Got the job. I don't know how to speak Mandarin. But you didn't need it for that job. So the hard part about the job wasn't the finding the job or doing the interview. The hard part of the application process was getting the documents together. They send you a list of about 10 different documents that you need. When you have to get them together, like you have to get your fingerprints taken, you have to get a criminal record check. You can't just send them a transcript of your degree that you have. You have to get your degree authenticated. Like I had to send it into Toronto. I'm from Canada. So that's the challenging part. The job was for teaching English to children. I should mention that. And very basic stuff like, what is it? It is a dog and stuff. But yeah, I managed to get my documents together. I flew down there. I think I did have to pay for my flight, but yeah, I mean, I started teaching. A lot of it was like using flashcards and stuff. It involves a lot of games, a lot of educational games. Using flashcards. It's like putting a bunch of flashcards that have like pictures of dogs and cats, different animals, rabbits, and saying, giving them a fly swatter, maybe a clean one, and saying cat. Then you have to like smack the picture of the cat with the fly swatter. But I mean, I worked there for about 2 years for the same company. I was in a city called Dachau, which is in the Sichuan province, which has very spicy food. The city has about 6 million people, I think. my apartment that they gave me was so slow. I'm not sure why I never had thought about getting it upgraded, but I struggle with it every day pretty much. And I use the internet a lot. But they provided an apartment for me. School paid for that. I just had to pay utilities, which was super cheap. It was easy for me to save money there. I was only making about $2,000 a month, but the expenses were so low and the food at the restaurants there was so cheap that I actually saved a decent amount of money. I remember I did wire transfer with the help of a friend and the principal of the school that I worked at. And what happened was I got a Chinese bank account. I got paid in Chinese money, right? Which is called, I think it was called renminbi. And excuse me. But I went to a bank and was able to withdraw like all of my money in cash. That's a Chinese bank in the city I was living in, Dazhou. It's about $25,000 Canadian worth of cash, but it was Chinese cash, right? But that's how much it was worth in Canadian dollars. Put it in a backpack. But my Chinese principal said China is very safe, and I always felt safe in the city that I was living in. But then we went to a bigger bank and deposited the money there, and they did a wire transfer to my bank account, which took a few days. It was about 25 grand worth of Canadian dollars. It worked. But if teaching was a rewarding profession, it could be stressful at times. The kids can be very bad. And I'm not trying to say I'm rich by the 25 grand thing. I mean, it's not a huge amount of money. Also, I blew through it very quickly. I find that might be something you might want to think about if you're maybe not used to having a bunch of cash. If you have it sitting in your bank account, you're probably just going to spend it on something dumb. So I would invest it. But yeah, I mean, some friends with some Chinese people. We just at a restaurant. And this Chinese guy wanted to be friends with me. He could barely speak English, and I really couldn't speak Mandarin. But we started communicating through WeChat, which is like this application. It's somewhat like Facebook in a way. You can add your friends and then post pictures and videos of stuff that's going on in your life, and comment on other people's stuff, on your friends' stuff there. And but you can also connect it to your bank account, transfer money to WeChat, and then use it to pay. You can also use it to chat, use it to like pay at grocery stores and stuff like that, or wherever you are, wherever it accepts WeChat. And a lot of places accept WeChat. And you chat, and you can press a button and talk into this, like on your phone, right? It's an application. Talk into it in English and have it converted to Chinese, or type the text into English, have it converted to Chinese or Mandarin, and vice versa. So me and this Chinese guy were doing that, and he would invite me out drinking and smoking cigarettes with his friends. So I would say at least where I was, about 80% of the guys smoked cigarettes. It was crazy. Some of the women did, but it was like almost like part of the culture, I would say. And it's also part of the culture too. Like in Canada, when your buddies might be smoking a cigarette, and probably you would ask like, hey, can I smoke one of those? But then again, a lot of people in Canada are just totally against smoking, so. But in China, when you're out with your friends, like, if you smoke cigarettes, it's part of the culture to offer cigarettes to your friends. So I was constantly getting offered cigarettes, and I was smoking those cigarettes and drinking. The beer was like, I think it was maybe 3% alcohol. No, probably less actually. But there was like big beers. And we would like do like shots of beer. It was in Canada, if you're gonna do shots, you should have hard alcohol, like 40% alcohol, or maybe hard alcohol mixed with some fruity something or other. But here it's just like it was beer, which was not a high percentage of alcohol. But you would do them so often. It was constantly cheersing with your friends that it would get you drunk. We were having a hot pot, which is like big in the city that I was living in, which is like you have basically a deep fryer at your table. In the center of your table, this big pot of hot oil with an element under it, or propane burner under it maybe. And the oil is like, there's spices mixed in there. And what you do is you order a bunch of raw food, like meats and vegetables and stuff like that. And you have your chopsticks, and you take a piece of meat and you dunk it into the oil with your chopsticks, and you leave it in there for like maybe 15 seconds, and then it cooks, and then you take it and you put it into a little bowl of oil that you prepared beforehand. So you dunk it out of the oil and you put it into more oil, so it's not the most healthy thing. But sorry about the showering upstairs. People have other people living in this apartment building that can be pretty noisy this time of the morning. It's about 6:52 a.m. right now. And but you put different chilies and garlic and maybe and different things inside of your little oil dish. And yeah, I loved Tapa. It was very delicious, but let me just see. So how I got before, I think a commenter was asking how I got around in China. Sometimes I would take a cab, and the cabs were like so little, like they're almost free. Like it was so cheap, because I was actually earning a high salary compared to most Chinese people. I think it was 12,000 renminbi I was earning per month. Chinese people they were earning like only about 3,000 renminbi per month or so. But I'm sure like doctors and professors and stuff like that were earning more, but yeah, the cabs again use WeChat Translate to get around the cabs. I was learning Chinese, taking Chinese lessons from my principal, but it was hard to learn Chinese or Mandarin, should I say. And just learn like basic phrases, basically, like so that you can eat at restaurants and stuff like that. Like I would say, "Wa bu yao dai zi," and I mean like I try to be a little bit environmentally friendly at times, and that means at a grocery store. I don't know if I hit the right tones. That I don't want a plastic bag, or I don't want a bag with my groceries, because I would just put it in my backpack, and I had my own reusable grocery bags. I'd say, "Wa ya niu mian," and it's like I want beef noodles. So you walk into a restaurant and say that, and they'd have delicious beef noodles with big chunks of beef and with the noodles, and it'd be pretty spicy and have this wonderful flavor. And basically I just eat, and I walked a lot though. Yeah, I mean there was a nearby shopping mall that I often walked to, and inside the shopping mall it was kind of funny actually, because a lot of the stores, like nobody would be in there shopping. It was weird. I don't know how they stayed in business, because I was there for 2 years, and most of the stores stayed in business, and it's just like very few people in the shopping. But I would walk to restaurants, and I think it was about 4 months in, this girl approached me on the street, and she was like speaking in English, and a Chinese girl, and she's like, "Hey, do you need some help?" And I was just like sitting down next to a grocery store, and I was like, well, not really, but we started striking up a conversation, and got each other's WeChat, and then and she ended up becoming my girlfriend, and yeah, so I had a girlfriend, and for about 4 months, which I think was the longest relationship I've ever been in. And I'm like, I think I'm 36 now, so, and yeah, we broke up. I ended it, and I think she wanted to continue, but but let me just see. So I had trouble buying shoes at times, because most of the stores weren't used to foreigners, because Chinese men in general have smaller feet than me. I'm about a size 11 US in shoe size. And there was very few foreigners in the city. Like I would walk down the street and I would turn heads, like people would be like looking at me, being like, probably to a lot of them it's like the first white person they've seen in the city. And so a lot of the locals were very friendly and generous. But yeah, I had trouble finding a shoe size that would fit me for a while. Just because obviously why would the shoe stores stock up on for people with big feet? You know what I mean? I don't have big feet, but there I did, you know. But yeah, it was. What was I just gonna say? Let me just see here real quick and scroll down here. But yeah, so that's some of the stuff that happened in China. But now I actually, other than China, going back to Canada here. One sec, please. Sorry about that. It's a tick cough. I wanted to put on mute for a sec so you wouldn't have to hear that, but now my credit score went up to 840, which is nice. And that's in the excellent range. Before I think it was 831, which is in the very good range. I'm not really sure how it improved. I've just been, like, normally I transfer money over to my credit cards so that I usually run a credit rather than being owing. So maybe it's just that, but I'm happy about that. But parents, either my dad or my mom took, because I'm driving their vehicle. They have two vehicles, but I live with myself, by myself in an apartment, but also go to my parents' house every week on my days off because they live in the same town as I do. One of them took the snow brush out of the vehicle that I drive, which is their vehicle, but still, yeah, I guess they were thinking that the winter was over, and it pretty much is, but it's been snowing the past 2 days, and I was like, I want to go buy some groceries, I want to take the vehicle there to do that, and yeah, so I called my dad, and because there was a lot of snow on the vehicle, so I called my dad, and I was like, did you take that out of the vehicle? And he said, yeah, I did. And sorry about that. And so he's like, don't worry, I'll come and sweep off your vehicle and leave the brush in the vehicle. So he did that, which was nice of him. But yeah, yeah, so it's been snowing lately, but I think this weekend, on Sunday, I believe, it's supposed to be plus 20 degrees Celsius. And it's April 23rd, 2025 right now. So that's pretty warm for April in Canada. So this part of Canada at least, so that's going to be good. Yeah. I don't know, some people say that a registered retirement savings plan, that you should only get one if you're making $60,000 a year or more. But I don't know about that. I mean, I have one and I'm earning 5.1% interest on it, which is pretty good. And that's much higher than, a fair bit higher than what I could get for a cashable GIC and a TFSA, the Guaranteed Investment Certificate, where the interest rate is fixed. It's at a tax-free savings account. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. But I need to stop buying Greek yogurt because I keep binging on it, and it's pretty crazy. And I'm trying to lose weight here, but I'll show you my progress. I have lost some weight, and here's what I look like right now. And so I lost about 6 pounds, I would say. But I want to, by July 7th, 2025, I want to be losing about around 2 pounds a week. And so I want to get down to 200 pounds. And I'll show you how much I weigh now. This is weighing with my shirt off. I normally weigh myself with my shirts on, with my shirt off. And so weighing in at 218 pounds. So it's not bad. So the weight loss is kind of working. I've been dieting. But let me just see here. Other than that, yeah, I saw this guy on Instagram, I believe, holding a snapping turtle, and he's like this wildlife guy who like shows off exotic and dangerous wildlife. And I was thinking like Steve Irwin pretty much used to be the only person who was doing that. And I think now it's amazing you can have your own show and you don't have to worry about like, what I'm trying to say is, I think it'd be, in the past, I think it'd be hard to get on TV, but now it's easy to get on the internet and gain followers. And, you know, I think it's a great privilege that we have in our society. It's pretty cool. But let me just see if there's anything else.